Welcome to a very special edition of Coffee with Joe for Tuesday, December 21st, 2010. Actually, Joe, we should probably call it Champagne with Joe.
Yes.
Because we have something to celebrate today, folks.
We certainly do.
This is the winter solstice and the light is coming back.
The light
is that a little too symbolic? What are we talking about here, Joe?
Congressman Dennis Kucinich has entered into the Congress a bill, H.R. 6550, which he calls the National Employment Emergency Defense Act of 2010. And basically it's taking the perspective that what we need to do is we need to defend the national economy. And it lays out the cause of why we need to do it in many, many pages. 9 pages of findings on why we need to go into having a defense of the national economy on behalf of the people, and then goes into, the purpose of the act and the means and the methods by which we could accomplish it.
Well, Joe, I have a bit of an apology to make to our viewers and to some people in the American monetary reform movement. Last week, when we did the year in review a little bit too early,
Yes.
I said that the year 2010 wouldn't be stealing a lot of attention in the great annals of the history of monetary reform, because basically nothing had happened that year. Guess what? It happened at the very end of the year. We haven't passed monetary reform in the United States. We just have a bill being entered by a U.S. congressman, a bill that proposes a debt-free money system for the very first time since the Chicago Plan was being considered in the 1930s. Is that right, Joe?
Well, as comprehensive a bill, yes. There have been a couple of bills that were put in by Congressman Wright Patman, that did some parts of what this does, Pete, but there hasn't been anything as comprehensive as this since the Chicago Plan or the National Monetary Control Act of 1934, which is how the Chicago Plan was titled in the Congress.
So this is really big, in case you haven't figured it out, for us in the monetary reform movement.
It couldn't be bigger.
And it's available online. We'll put the link on it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We have to have it on our website as soon as we can, Pete, so that people can get to our website and find it. We want to be, part of the early deliverers, as it were, of this message that Congressman Kucinich has put forward, and he's done a really excellent job of designing this piece of legislation, Pete.
Well, let's just, to give our viewers some idea of what to expect from this video, maybe not a whole lot more, although we are going to open and share the champagne and clink glasses over this. Joe, last summer we did a series on the Program for Monetary Reform from 1939, and we spent 6 or 8 10-minute videos diving into that and talking about the details of it. So I'm pretty sure we're going to give at least as much treatment to the
Need,
the National Employment Emergency Defense Act.
right? Because what do we really need in this country, Pete?
What do we need in this country?
Wages, jobs and wages. That's what we really need. And this. Like I said, it's very comprehensively laid out in terms of the cause for it, Pete. If you're going to try to undertake to do anything as comprehensive and structurally important and significant as to make a change to the monetary system, it has to be the cause for doing so has to be laid out.
Well, Joe, I would
sir.
like to toast this event with you. And certainly going to be attacked and lampooned and made fun of. But Joe, we're going to take a little taste here, and then I want you to finish by reading me that quote that you read me a little earlier. Salud.
Whoa, that's quite good. But the preamble to the act says this. H.R. 6550. To create a full employment economy as a matter of national economic defense, to provide for public investment in capital infrastructure, to provide for reducing the cost of public investment, to retire public debt, to stabilize the Social Security retirement system, to restore the authority of Congress to create and regulate money, modernize and provide stability for the monetary system of the United States, retire public debt, and reduce the cost of public investment, and for other purposes.
Let me see that. Retire public debt.
Yes.
And reduce the cost of public investment, retire public debt.
Yes, retire public
And
debt.
not reduce public debt.
Right, retire public debt as it comes due and payable. The method, the means, and the method are in there, Pete, of how to go about doing that using the monetary authority established by the Act.
This is a bona fide debt-free money monetary system they're talking about here.
Bona fide, Pete. It couldn't be
No
more
public
bona fide.
debt. I mean, this is one of the things that I always grab people and shake them with is like, there'd be no national debt
Right.
if we had a reform monetary system
Right.
along these lines.
And much less state public debt. Goes go a long ways to reducing state public debt.
Reducing state debt.
Well, the state share, state and local share, because the state share is made up of municipal or however you want to think of it. That share of funds would be equivalent to 25% of the annual increase in the supply of money. And these days, our approximate economic growth potential represents about $400 billion, Pete, annually. Okay, so that would mean
$100 billion to the
$100
states.
billion to the
Debt-free.
states every year, Pete.
Every year.
That's the thing. Every year, it portends such a healthy state-based, national economic system, because the states would be able to do the things that the states do best, which is to identify their own needs and to accomplish their own needs, Pete. Not have the federal government do it, just have the money system, the monetary system fund the state's development needs. And a lot of that would be public infrastructure, because that's mostly what the states are doing. So you take a look at the roads here in Vermont, Pete, the bridges, there's so many of them that are back-burnered, the education system going down, everything that's going on with regard to the states has a potential benefit that's related to, again, the purposes of this act and the methods and the means to accomplish those purposes. It's very well comprehensively done. It couldn't have been done better, in my opinion.
I think the only problem with it is it's so potentially transformative of our entire economy, society, and politics, Joe, that people aren't gonna believe in it. It's a little bit like, believing in Santa Claus. When I tell people that if we reform the monetary system, there'd be no national debt, no reaction.
Pete, let's face it, one of the best reasons for having this out here is to join the discussion. What discussion? What is money? What is the national economy? What is the monetary system? What is the monetary system? How does the monetary system and the power of the creation of money relate to everything that's going on? So for 100 years, we've had this private system of creating debt as money, money as debt, debt as money. And so it's the only thing that we've known. For generations, it's the only thing that we've known. But it doesn't make it, final. It doesn't make it good. It just means that we have a huge amount of, I'm going to call it unlearning, to do about the national economy and the money system, Pete. A huge amount. Most people just goes right over their head. What is money? Money. I mean, it's money. I have my checks, my bank. No, but what is money? And then how does money work? What's the means of exchange? Why do we need to have a means of exchange that works to keep the economy going? It's to me, one of the great advantages.
Is that all we need money to do, to provide a means of exchange that works?
Well, for the national economy, that's all that it really needs to do. When right in there, it states the primary purpose in there of monetary policy under this form of a system is to have the right amount of money in existence to be neither inflationary nor deflationary, and to carry out the commerce up to the potential of the national economy. No, that is it, Pete. That's really it. Now, all the other functions of money, stores of value, units of account, all those other things, yeah, they're going to still be there. You're going to still measure somebody's wealth by the amount of money that's in their account. It has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with that. This has to do with the national economy and providing the grease, if you will, the oil, if you will, for keeping the national economy going. And Congressman Kucinich has done a really bang up job, Pete, of getting all the stuff that we need out here in one document.
So, one last toast to
Yes.
Congressman Kucinich.
Thank you, Congressman Kucinich.
And a shout out to Bernie
Shout out to
to
Bernie.
let him know we need a sponsor in the Senate. Joe, I don't know if we have enough time to go into it right now. Let's make another video right after this to Bernie about how this bill addresses his concerns about the disparity of income in our
We'll
country.
do that separately because it's very, very important, Pete.
Okay,
Very
good.
important. Okay, Pete. Again,
Joey?
salute, buddy.